The idea was first conceived back in 1999, and it came about because the existing runway, being the main runway here at this airport, was actually too short to allow many of the aircraft operators to operate through here with a full payload and therefore operate efficiently. And it also was one of the shortest main runways within the region. It's been very much needed to help the local economy, and it's also going to help the airport to develop, because it's going to mean that different aircraft types can operate in here without any payload restriction, and therefore it's going to open up the airport and make it much more viable for the operators. There were a number of challenges. Initially, when the feasibility study was done in 2000, then the costs were looking significantly higher than they are now, and everything had to be reappraised and value engineered so that we could actually develop an extension that would deliver what we need in regard of runway lengths to allow the aircraft to operate, and also to meet the fairly tight budget constraints that we had. Amongst the other challenges is, of course, the fact that we are in Shetland Islands, which is 60 degrees north and is, I think, world famous for being a very windy and very exposed place as far as the climate is concerned. And we're down here on the southern tip, where we're open on one side to the North Sea and open at the other end of the runway to the Atlantic, because there is little distance from the end of the existing runway to the actual coastline itself.
The difficulties that we've faced, or some of the obvious difficulties, is the establishment of the facilities that we need on the island in a relatively remote location. Although it's part of the British Isles, it is one of the most northerly parts of the British Isles, although we're on the south of the island. It hasn't been easy to get all the kit and all the equipment here that we need. The largest piece of equipment we brought with us is the asphalt plant, obviously, and perhaps the most crucial part of the operation. The asphalt plant breaks down into a series of flatbed trailers, which can then be transported by road. And in this instance, they were transported from Birmingham up to Aberdeen by road, where they were loaded onto ferry, and then across from Aberdeen into Lerwick, and offloaded and brought down to Sumburgh Airport by road, where the plant is erected within about 10 days to 2 weeks it takes to erect the plant into an operational position. So we then go into a series of plant trials to establish the mixes that we're going to use on site, and from then we can go into full production relatively quickly.
Maybe the pixels seem to be open. Yeah. It's very good.
As accessed by the laboratory this is the growing curve.
Colas are working to the main contractor, Balfour Beatty, and because of the nature of the contract, it is very much done in partnership, with the main contractor, and then that follows down to any of the subcontractors, and therefore Colas have been on board and working with Balfour Beatty and ourselves, the airport operator, to find the most effective solution for doing the surfacing work on the runway.
Part of the contract is to resurface the existing runway. I believe that it wasn't the original part of the original contract, but it's something which is developed through the partnership that we have with Shetland Island Council and HIAL, as the ability or the opportunity to actually resurface the whole runway. The asphalts that we've used here on site consist of predominantly three materials. We've used a base material which goes into the bottom layer. We've used a binder course which sits between the base and the surface course, and the surface course mix, which is a mixture which is used in France or has been used in France for quite a long time, but has never been used in the UK on an airfield before. This is a very good opportunity for Colas within the UK, and it's a very good opportunity to show the integration, the cooperation between Colas in England in particular and Colas in France, and the assistance that we get from France is all demonstrated by this project. There is some collaboration, if you want to call it, between the client, the Shetland Islands Council, Hayal, who is the airport owner, ourselves, Colas in England, and also the assistance that we've had from Colas in France, in particular the Colas technical team in France, headed by Jacques Saminos.
The overall project, the budget was set at £9.75 million, and that was to extend at the eastern end by a distance of 220 metres into the sea, and at the western end by a distance of 45 metres. Now, apart from the marine reclamation, there was obviously the surfacing works that was required. We're also putting in a new aerodrome ground lighting system, and we are upgrading and replacing the existing ILS, that's the instrument landing system. We actually have a new operator that's going to be operating through here later this year that will be able to operate a 90-seat aircraft from this runway without any payload restriction, which is going to be a major boost to travel in and out of the islands. Very much of the work has actually been carried out by local subcontractors, which is excellent for the local economy. However, when it came to actually doing the surfacing works, it was a major project, and it needed somebody like Colas to be able to come in with the expertise and also to be able to bring up the batching plant to manufacture the surfacing material, because we were able to use the aggregate from on site, which has been of a major benefit to the project, both in cost and haulage costs.
Our greatest challenge was to source aggregates, to source suitable aggregates, and we've eventually managed to do this by using the aggregates which are being won from the quarry on site here at Sumburgh Airport. So far to date we've manufactured approximately 10,000 tonnes of asphalt, with another 9,000 at least to go. Most of that 9,000 tonnes will be the surface course, the new surface course, which we start production middle of next week. The bitumen has come from a refinery in Dundee, which belongs to a company called Ninas, and delivered by our tankers which belong to Colas in Warrington. The whole delivery of bitumen has been a complicated operation because of the location of the island. The transport is the most difficult part of the delivery operation with regard to bitumen. This asphalt plant is an Airmont. It's a French asphalt plant. It's what's called a continuous mix plant, and it's rated at 225 tonnes per hour, but generally speaking you'll get between 150 tonnes an hour and 180 tonnes per hour. It normally runs at 150 tonnes per hour, and will quite happily run all day, every day. So we can produce thousands of tonnes of asphalt with this plant.
Another one of the challenges was obviously the fact that the Shetland Islands are quite remote, so that gives logistical problems for contractors coming into work, and any of the heavy machinery had to come in here had to come by 12-hour sea journey.
Colas are here essentially to put the asphalt layer on top of the new extension, and our biggest challenge was to make sure all the kit was here on time, in a working condition, ready to lay asphalt when it was required. The weather in Shetland is very different from other places, certainly in England and in Scotland and Wales and the UK. The big difference is that the weather changes very, very quickly. It can be a nice sunny day as it is today, and within hours you could be in rain or fog or snow or the weather is a great challenge and has been one of the challenges that we've faced on this contract.
One of the other challenges has actually been having this project ongoing whilst we were maintaining runway 0927 as an operational runway throughout. And we've been able to do that through working closely with the contractor, and at times actually doing some of the work at night when the airport is closed. But most of the work has been done during the day, and we've been able to work around and manage so that the time lost to the contractor was as little as possible, whilst of course maintaining the all-important factor of aviation safety at all times.
The airport has never stopped. The extension is to the 09027 runway, and this has been operational throughout the construction of the extension from the very start. We've certainly experienced difficulties, not problems, but difficulties with the traffic coming on the runway, because when the traffic comes in, then we must vacate the runway. So this causes delays and breaks in our production, and also in the operation to lay the asphalt. Certainly doing what we're doing in system with this contract is part of the development of Shetland. The airport is an essential part of the transport links on Shetland, and I think the High Isle and Shetland Island Council, backed up by the Scottish Executive, regard this sort of work, the extension, as part of a community benefit. And as Colos, I think Colos are happy to be part of that scheme.